It is spring and it is gorgeous down here. I can't wait to spend the rest of the day doing amazing stuff. I have been busy over the last couple of weekends in little bits and pieces where I can, so I'll show you some of that. But it's weather like this that makes me realise exactly why I've built a cabin down here. It's wonderful. So here's just a bit of a run through of what I've been up to in the last couple of weeks. Bold move today, I'm actually going to cut a big chunk out of the floor. The rain still got in to this little corner here. I'm a bit concerned about the footings because they actually do feel a bit springy now. So I think what I'm going to have to do is cut a little panel off, remove it, readjust the footings, the actual stumps underneath. Yeah, see if I can just shore that up first because I don't want to get too far down the interior and walls and stuff, knowing that there's a bit of a wobble in the floor. So, here goes. And that, my friends, is a very big hole in the floor. As you can see, the footings have come out a bit on that side. So I'll bolster that up a little bit. And a bit of damp in that beam too, that's where most of that water was going. Hopefully that'll dry out by itself. There's enough airflow coming underneath, I think. Alright, that is the foundations redone. I reckon what I might do is, I'm not going to permanently seal this up. I'm going to sort of leave it as a bit of a hatch. I'm not going to stash anything in it though. But it might be handy for me to actually get access to this, a bit like a manhole cover, but in the floor, just so I can check the foundations underneath it, make sure that everything's sort of drying out under there next winter. Yeah, I think I'll put a door in rather than cover the whole thing up. So I'm doing this window here, and it's a tricky one because I've got to cut a little insert out of the corner there. It's going to go up into here. I've got to cut a diagonal to match the roof, and then I've actually got to cut a little insert where the window's going to go. So it's going to be an odd looking piece, but like a jigsaw puzzle, it should fit perfectly. All right, here we go. And I have run out of screws, so that's me for the rest of the day. I did get a little bit ahead of myself and got the legs on the bed. Check that out. So that's the space I'll be using to put some slats on shortly, and underneath will be all of the storage that I'm going to need. It's looking good. So you know how I had plenty of plywood left over? I've used most of that in the bottom half of the walls, but I had just like little bits and pieces left. So what I've done is I've actually trimmed it all exactly to like 7 centimeters, and what I've created is a sort of a paneling effect. So when I stain that bottom half, it's kind of going to have that cool panelled look, which might make it look a little classy. It's coming up well. Bit hard to tell now that it's getting dark, but that's the first coat with the British green. It's like a hunter green. And I'm loving the texture. We'll see how it looks when it dries. Should be a matte finish when it's dried. So here's that green dry. That's the matte finish. It's a chalk paint, so it has actually come up very matte, but I quite like it. can really tell, but I'm staining this in what's called a, let me see, a beach hut grey. Now, you can kind of see a little bit of a difference between the roof and the wall. So that's what's happening here on this side, so I'm just in the middle of that. So this is where the OSB and the ply meet, so I'm sort of going to hide that a little bit and stain the bottom dark and the top beach hut grey. When it dries, apparently it'll already sort of, you can see a bit there, it's kind of going a little bit pale, so fingers crossed. I've repurposed this old drawer. Used to be full of DVDs, remember them? So I've put a little curtain on the side, so that's sort of squaring off all the bed, all the storage behind all this. Let's have a look around, shall we? Okay, here we go. First entrance. Remember that window getting put in? There's the pond window. Obviously, we're still missing some cladding there. Door out there to the fire pit. Lovely. There's the gable that I hung off at one point. And the floor. This window. Remember that one going in? That was the heavy one. I've managed to tidy up all of my crap onto just that little side table. Brilliant. Cladding to come there, but you can kind of see I've got a bit of a start just to see how it all works. So that's okay, I'm pretty confident with that. There's that old door, huh? Looks perfect in there now. And there's the bed, mattress holder with a cabinet in there, storage underneath it. Stereo, old one for some tunes. And there's those high windows there. And that, my friends, is how it's coming along. Very, very close. I'm so thrilled to think that it wasn't that long ago I was sitting right here doing a Q&A in just a bit of framework around me. And now, you know, it's all like real. So thank you so much for your support so far. It's been great to build this. It's been great to have an audience of sorts, and that's given me a bit of momentum to keep going sometimes. There are some weekends where I really don't want to come down here. I've got too much other stuff to do. So it has been great to keep me pumped, keep me motivated, and keep me confident in trying new stuff all the time. So yeah, thank you for coming along so far. And there'll be a couple more videos to go, I'm sure, but we're getting close to being finished.